So I recently got a comment from the channel Cactus Malpractice Fan who wanted me to send one of his videos, and that's what we'll be doing today. I decided to go with this video, Toy Story Chain Part 5, mostly because it's about me, sort of. The story behind this one is that I sent a video by another one of the channels who makes CinemaSins response videos, Luke Dougherty. I chose his Toy Story 2 video, and in my video, I dared him to respond to it with a Sins video of his own, and he did. It's very good, so go check it out. The Cactus Malpractice Fans video that I'm going to be covering was a response to Luke's video, which is why it's called Toy Story 2 Chain Part 5, because it's the 5th video in this weird little game that we've got going on. So without any further ado, let's get to sinning.
Before I start this video, I want to make it clear that I like Luke Dougherty's videos.
Actually, his name is pronounced Luke Dougherty. He mentioned it in this exact video when he called me out for mispronouncing it, so I don't know how you missed this. And yes, since I also mispronounced his name in my own video, that does mean that I also deserve a sin for this.
This video is made in good fun, as well as constructive criticism to help him improve further. I also want to point out that I would appreciate if someone made a CinemaSins video of this video to see how far we can keep this chain going.
Please don't. At this point, we've already reached CinemaSins territory. I'm pretty sure if this mania goes any further, a black hole will open and destroy the universe.
Oh, I feel like Andy continued his love of Woody simply because the first movie demanded a happy ending. This kid would have moved on from Woody 2 weeks after they moved into the new house, if that.
See this sin from the Toy Story 3 video.
Wait, so you did Toy Story 3 before doing Toy Story 2? Why?
Shouldn't this be a sin on his Toy Story 3 video, though?
Right, so I want to make it extra crystal clear to everybody watching, including whoever will inevitably send this video, that this sin was a joke. I don't actually have a problem with people sending franchises out of order. I literally made fun of myself for doing this exact thing with the Ice Age movies.
Now, what if this happened while Andy was in the room?
Aside from the fact that that didn't happen, that likely wouldn't actually happen since the toys always freeze whenever humans are present.
You are aware that the toys are not just perpetually frozen whenever humans are around, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to scare Sid in the first movie.
Yes, I am aware that the toys aren't just frozen, and while I could have said go limp instead of freeze, I think both terms work in that context.
The point that CinemaSinsSins was making is not that you made a poor word choice. It's that the point you made was invalid. He was saying that if Woody were to freak out after waking up from a nightmare while Andy was close by, Woody would have blown his cover.
Yes, good job. 10 out of 10. That's exactly what I was going for. Did that sound like I was being sarcastic? I genuinely meant that.
Okay, boy, to the yard sale! Yeah!
What? That dog understands English? Or you already taught it the command for to the yard sale? I mean, I can suspend my disbelief with the best of them, but you're stretching it here, man.
Well, why don't you just suspend your disbelief altogether and accept that this is a fictional movie?
Come on, dude. Do you really think Jeremy is capable of suspension of disbelief? If he was, then none of our channels would exist.
True, and to answer your question, I know that he doesn't do it.
CinemaSinsSins was making a joke here. The real sin is that he shouldn't have increased the sin counter after making the joke.
If I were to keep the sin counter the same after making a joke, then that would imply that the number of sins has any actual meaning whatsoever, which it definitely does not. And to demonstrate that, here's 5,000 sins. Why? Because this is my video and I get to do whatever I want.
Strangers from the outside.
I didn't realize until rewatching this how much lip service this movie pays to the first one.
Says the guy who repeatedly sins movies for logos and narration.
Yeah, this is a pretty massive pot call for the guy with a lot of quote-unquote inside jokes that are literally just the exact same word or phrase being repeated over and over.
It's not a Pixar movie unless there's a giant fact.
You mistakenly added a sin there instead of removing one.
I don't get it. CinemaSinsSins rightfully pointed out that your jokes can be repetitive, which is a valid criticism of your channel. I like your videos, but still.
Luke is actually right here. I actually did intend to remove a sin instead of adding one here. I mentioned this in a comment on my original video. When I was referring to repetitive inside jokes, I was talking about Jeremy, not Luke. Dude, at least put borders over your text. This combination of colors over the image feels like you are almost deliberately trying to make it hard to read.
Okay, I admittedly could have made the text darker, but even though you told me you know this, I was not intentionally making it hard to read.
Yeah, which is why CinemaSinsSins said that it feels like you tried to make the text hard to read.
But what I mainly want to say here is that in vice versa, I think your choice of brown text over Woody's hat and Andy's bed is a little bit odd here.
As CinemaSinsSins pointed out in a comment on this video, this was done as a joke.
Yes, thank you. The amount of people who don't seem to understand that this was supposed to be a joke is mind-boggling to me. For that, I'm going to take off the 5,000 sins that I gave you earlier. But definitely don't take that as some kind of admission that the sin count actually does matter, which, as a reminder, they definitely do not. In fact, just for the fuck of it, here's 472 sins.
Thank you for watching part 5 of the Toy Story 2 CinemaSins chain. Please note that I would be very happy to have anyone make a Sins video on any of my videos, especially if it's one of my videos connected to a large chain of Sins videos, such as the Toy Story 2 chain or the Deadpool chain. If you do plan on making a Sins video on one of my videos, please remember to be respectful, though I would appreciate constructive criticism to help me improve my channel. With all that being said, welcome to this video's end segment, where I'm going to give what used to be my thoughts on the first 3 Toy Story movies when I was a little kid.
The inclusion of end segments in your videos is a blatant ripoff of JXE, which is the kind of thing that I have never ever done ever. I don't want to, but I am obligated to remove a sin for this reference. Also, props to you for keeping this joke going in 2025. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And would also like to commend the Cactus Malpractice fan for being a good enough sport to actively request this video. Not that many people would be that brave. And I do know that in the comment at the beginning of the video, he did request a different video of his called Deadpool Chain Part 7, which I did watch, but it would require even more explanation than this one, so I will link that video on screen now and in the description, because I recommend anyone who's interested to go ahead and watch that and tell me if they'd be interested in me covering it. But that's enough for me today, and bye.